Welcome to the Determined CEO podcast, where we will dive into the latest trends and resources to support your journey in becoming a sustainable and scalable startup venture. And now, here's your host, co-working space owner and business coach, Tim Williams.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tim Williams, the Determined CEO. Hope you all are having a great day. I am recording my journey on my retreat. So if you've been listening to my podcast, you know that I have gone on a week-long retreat. And what you're seeing right now is the actual aftermath of that retreat. You won't see these postings until after I get back, but I at least thought it would be critical if you all saw exactly what I was going through on this retreat and have a better understanding of what a retreat looks like for a business owner. And I'm not saying that all business owners do the same exact thing as I'm doing, but I am taking my own personal journey on this retreat, and so far, so good. Yesterday was the start, and by yesterday, this would have been Monday, so today is Tuesday, you all. Yesterday was the actual start of the retreat, and I actually wanted to spend that day kind of just relaxing, getting myself ready, watched a few of my shows, right? Come to find out where I'm at, my internet sucks. I have no network whatsoever, and it was baffling to me because when I originally came up here the first time to make sure everything was good, check it out, I had service, and now I don't have service. So, I am in between a rock and a hard place, you all. But regardless of that being the case, I am actually enjoying this retreat so far. I had the opportunity to actually open up a book that I got a while back ago called Facing Goliath, and you all, this is a really good book. It is for men, I will say that right now, so women, sorry, but by all means, if you want to know a little bit about the book, women, and want to see how you all could potentially apply some of the teachings, or to find a similar book that is catered to women, by all means, feel free to reach out to me. I would be more than happy to give you that information. But I've been reading this book called Facing Goliath, and it was simply talking about the different struggles, the different obstacles, challenges, giants that us as in men face on a daily basis. And, you know, we typically hear a lot how men are simple and it's not as complex to be a man as it is to be a woman. But the truth of the matter is, men go through many battles that, to be honest with you, most women just won't understand. And that's okay. You know, I'm not looking for a woman to understand the battles that us men have to go through. But I want men to know that our lives are not as simple as women make them out to be. We have many challenges because of our very nature, and this particular book goes through those challenges and actually not only exposes those challenges, but it actually helps you to be able to overcome those challenges. Allow me to first say that this book is a Christian book. So if you're not a Christian, as the book says itself, you might be offended. Actually, you know what? I wanted to read just the preface of it, because I believe that you will get a better understanding of what I mean by this. When I say if you're not a Christian, you will be offended. And these were his exact words. The book was actually written by J.P. Jones, which is the founding senior pastor of Crossline Church. And so his exact words was, if you are a narrow-minded fundamentalist, then you will be offended. If you are a legalistic Pharisee, then you will be offended. If you would rather argue about theology than really know God, then you will be offended. If you're hiding behind your unanswered religious questions, then you will be offended. If you are a wimp, then you will be offended. If you have to ask your wife's permission to read this book, then you will definitely be offended. Here's a reality check, you all. There are real Goliaths standing in your path. But the good news is that through Jesus Christ, the battle is the Lord's. Are you interested in finding out more? Read on. And I was interested in finding out more, you all. I wasn't a wimp. I wasn't going to be offended. I needed to overcome many Goliaths, you all, many giants. And this is why I'm here on this retreat. So there's two parts on why I'm here on this retreat, actually. The first and main part is to realign myself spiritually. I have been a Christian all my life, you all, and I know that God is real. I know that Jesus Christ is real. I know that the Holy Spirit is real. I am a believer in the Trinity, you all. And that being said, my life has not always lined up to be of one accord with theirs, with God's will. And that is something I know. But let me give you a very clear understanding how this really plays into my business, right? So, I believe I've told a story in one of my podcasts, but if not, I'm going to tell this story now. As you all know, I'm opening a community launchpad, or a co-working space for those who don't know what a community launchpad is. And I had the opportunity to be able to acquire a building on Natural Bridge in Newstead through Commerce Bank. And I remember there was one particular day, it had to be a Monday, you all. It really had to be a Monday where I had gotten the feeling. I could hear God speaking to me as clear as day. I was super happy because I could finally hear him speaking to me. You could not tell me it wasn't him, right? And he simply just said, Tim, go and walk the building and pray for it. Go and walk the building 3 times and pray for it. And so I remember hearing this and I was like, you know what? I'm going to have to go and do that. Well, long story short, Wednesday comes around, right? Still the same week. And I have yet to go and pray for this building. And on Wednesday, my church actually has Bible studies. So this one particular day, I'm actually headed to church. And I so happen to go the way where I actually pass my future building for diverse culture. And I get stopped, coincidentally, at a light that was right in front of the building. And so I'm just looking at the building, thinking about the building, like, man, I can't wait to get inside of there. And, just having these random thoughts where as clear as day, once again, you are twice now. And I'm going to tell you the significance of this as we get done, as we begin to, finalize everything. But twice now, I hear his voice clear as day. And he simply says, didn't I tell you to go and pray for that building, right? I told you to go and pray for that building and walk around it 3 times. And when he said that, the light changes and I start driving. But as I'm driving, I'm like, you know what? I need to go and pray for that building. I cannot prolong this any longer. And so I get to church. I'm at church. It's nighttime. Now, for those who are familiar with Natural Bridge in Newstead, in St. Louis, Missouri, you know that is not a place you want to be out late at night, necessarily just walking around a building that people just assume you're just randomly walking around, right? And so I was like, you know what? While, I want to go and pray for this building, let's just do the smart thing and let's just wait till morning, where there's more light out and there are a little bit more people out, right? So I ended up calling my grandfather that same night. And I was like, hey, Granddad, My granddad is a pastor of End Times Christian Assembly Church, you all. And so actually he's bishop now. So anyway, but I called my granddad. I was like, hey, granddad, I want to go to the building, Commerce Bank building, and I want to walk around that building 3 times. And while doing so, pray for it. God spoke to me clearly and told me to go and pray for that building. And I would like for you to be there with me as I do this. And so my granddad, without any hesitation, said yes. And we would meet up there the next morning, Thursday, at 10 o'clock a.m. So 10 o'clock comes and we meet up there and we get out and we began praying. And it was funny because right before we started walking around the building and doing our prayer, I actually did a small side prayer. And that prayer, I remember it. I asked God, no matter who's looking at us, no matter how weird we might look, walking around this building, touching this building, and just talking out loud or whatever, people see what they want to see, right? But no matter what they saw, that I wouldn't be embarrassed and that I wouldn't care what they thought. That I would have full focus on what it is that you, God, told me to do. And after that simple, small side prayer, I was locked in. I was focused. I knew what needed to be done. My granddad knew what needed to be done. And we began to walk around that building while praying. And so it was great, you all. I felt good. I felt really great. It was one time where I felt like my prayer game was just strong and I was killing it, right? And my granddad's over there killing it. We walk around this building 3 times. We're praying for the building. And upon finishing, me and my granddad finally go our separate ways. He talks to me, telling me, God is going to give you everything you want. This building is yours. And you just be patient and wait. Seek God. And we go our separate ways. I get in my car and I start my car. And kid you all, not the 3rd instance, I hear God's voice clear as day. I mean, you could not tell me that I was not listening to God. You could not tell me that God was not talking to me as clear as day. And his exact words was, do you know why I told you to walk around this building 3 times and to pray for that building? And of course, in my head, I'm thinking, well, God, I know what it is. If you want something, walk around the building 3 times and pray over it, and you claim that building in God's name. And, I'm just like, yeah, that's why you told me to do it. And he's like, well, okay, that's part. But what I really wanted you to understand here in this particular case is that with everything that you're doing, I wanted you to be very clear that it's nothing that you did to acquire this building, but it's because of me that you got this building. And I wanted you to make sure that you understood that you have nothing to do with this, that I will get all of the glory. And it's funny because I had a prayer, it could have even been a month ago, but it was just a simple prayer of me asking God to make sure that I stay humble. While I'm on this journey, that I stay humble and that I remember where I came from and that I always put him first. And guys, don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect at this. I'm not a perfect Christian. I am trying to be a better Christian, but I'm not a perfect Christian. And, I have my shortcomings. And on this particular day, it was just mind-blowing the way that God was speaking to me. I was on cloud 9. I was just on such a high. That whole day, you couldn't tell me anything. I was just all over the place on such a spiritual high. And so that being said, I needed to realign myself on this retreat. Why? Because since then, I've fallen off in certain areas. And you all, I'm being transparent. Why? Because I want you to understand not only the good outcomes of being a leader, of being a business owner, being an entrepreneur, but you also have to see the bad. Or you at least should know about the bad, because I think too many times do we see on media, social media, wherever, that we see all these great things happening with these entrepreneurs or with these business owners who gone out and built these 6-figure, 7-figure, 8-figure, however many figure companies. But we never hear the struggles. We never hear the stories on how they even got there. The personal life, the professional life. We don't hear any of that. We just hear the good. And so when we fall in our slumps, we figure we must be, there must be a default in us. There must be something wrong with us. And I'm here to tell you that there's nothing wrong with you. We are wonderfully made in God's image, right? And here's the thing. He has a purpose for our life. You all, this is not a Bible study episode, you all. This is simply me giving you my story, and I want to encourage you. And through the encouragement, you have to know that my encouragement, my faith, my persistence, my drive, the reason why I work so hard and that I won't give up is not because of me, but it's because of what I know that God has promised me. And while things have not gone the way that I wanted them to go in the time frame that I wanted them to go in, I still remember that God has promised me. And it's funny because I'm sitting here now thinking about all of this, and it was just a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, when I was thinking, man, like, why isn't this happening? Why isn't that happening? But then I had to remember, God has promised me that he is going to do A, B, and C for me. And here's the thing. God didn't tell me when exactly he was going to do A, B, and C for me. So what I have to do is be patient. What I have to do is continue to be prepared. And what I'm asking you to do is be patient, be prepared, and follow after what God wants for you. You follow after God, and what does it say? He'll give you the desires of your heart. Again, you all, I'm not perfect at this. I fall in, but I pick myself back up. And this retreat here is for me to pick myself back up. So, to spiritually realign myself with Christ, once again, is why I'm on this retreat. And then secondly, for me to strategize, you all. To strategize in understanding how to build diverse culture. Diverse culture is complex, you all. It's truly complex. And I was just talking to my marketing team yesterday and telling them how no one can argue with me on the fact that I need a team to build diverse culture. Hands down, I know I need a team to be able to build diverse culture. Why? Because it's bigger than me. I cannot do this on my own. And so it is crazy for me to think that I could do all of this by myself and be impactful, not only to my community, but be impactful to the people that I'm serving, my clients, my customers, my members. And so with that being said, I needed to strategize and get a clear understanding on how to build a thriving company, how to build a thriving company intentionally in a way where I'm not having all these different shortcomings because I didn't properly prepare myself to build a business. You all, that's what it is. It's a game of patience and preparation. You have to be able to prepare yourself mentally, prepare yourself physically, prepare yourself emotionally, prepare yourself spiritually. All of these things go into running a thriving, successful business. And so I need to strategize. I need to understand what does marketing look like. I need to understand what my back-end operations look like. I need to understand A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. And so I had to get some time away from society. I had to get some time away from work. And if you all listen to my previous podcast, you would have understood why it is important as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, for us to break away. That earlier, my previous episode on the podcast was learning to break away as an entrepreneur. I want you all to really go and listen to that podcast, you all. It will give you a very in-depth overview on why it's important to break away and have that time where you can strategize, realign yourself. This is crucial, you all. You have to be willing to give yourself the appropriate time to be able to focus in on your business. So, facing Goliath, you all. Going back to this book, right? I'm not going to go too deep into it, but one of the big things that it speaks about is facing our fears. As fear as being one of our giants or as our Goliaths, right? As an entrepreneur, I have my fears. I have my fears on whether or not I will succeed. I have my fears on whether or not I will let my peers, my family, my friends down. I have my fears of A, B, C, and D. But as an entrepreneur who has a purpose, who has a platform, and who knows what God has promised me, I have to keep pushing. But that does not mean that I don't have my struggles. And with facing Goliath, right now I'm in a process of going and uncovering those fears and then being able to delete, obliterate those fears, to remove those fears. And so you all, you're really on this journey with me. We're about to go each day, and I'm going to tell you exactly what I've learned. Today, I got a better understanding of what those fears are. Yesterday, I got a better understanding of what those fears were and what they might look like. And today, we're going to dive in even deeper. So, I thank you for tuning in with me. I'm looking forward to showing you the next episodes. Right now, I guess we're going to be in a series of retreat. I'll figure out what I'm going to call that series, actually. But as of right now, we're going to consider this as the retreat series. So, I hope you stay tuned for these daily series. I'm going to still be posting these once a week, but I'm going to have enough content to post for a total of 7 weeks, you all. So please stay tuned. And again, thank you for joining the Determined CEO podcast with your host, Tim Williams.
Thanks for listening. I hope you were able to take some valuable gems from today's episode. Be sure to follow us on social media at The Determined CEO and online at thedeterminedceo.com. Check back weekly and be sure to subscribe to our show on Apple Podcast, Stitcher Radio, or wherever you listen to your podcast. Until next time, go and become the change you want to see.